Welcome back to more Guild Wars 2! Let's continue forward. There was a dynamic event that happened. Bandits invaded this poor little ranch. Well, nothing we can do about that. Sadly. Instead, we have this guy. I'm not sure if he's a bot, but he is completely and utterly without armor. Could be doing a challenge run. Although, based on what he does after he gets back up, I think he might have been a bot.
I owe you one.
So, moving on from there, there's this waypoint over here which we need to get. And, of course, map rewards. Not map rewards, daily rewards. Map rewards aren't going to be for 2 more videos. Queensdale turned out to be one of the video-wise smaller maps. I'm not quite sure why. It could just be because I've optimized my path through it. That is entirely possible, and I will admit that I have done quite a bit of map optimization since early runs. But now we have to sneak around through some harpies. After, of course, we get to see what's in that cave, which was nothing of importance. Now, harpies can be difficult to sneak by if you're not careful. Generally, if you stick to the far outside like I am, and then you cut across, you won't aggro them, but I've had it happen to where they will aggro. But it's not a consistent thing. Now, past the harpies, there's a bunch of Etten. We just want to run past them for now. I mean, there's a skill point in here that you can pick up on your way through, but we're just running because we want the map revealed. Now we're going to be heading into God-Lost Swamp, the last areas of the game. Well, not quite yet, actually. There's the bit off to the east of God-Lost Swamp, which we want to get to. Now, there's not a waypoint there, because I didn't get the one in God-Lost Swamp, which was unfortunate. But if you head straight south from the far eastern border of the map, we're going to come through this centaur camp, which is going to give us another point of interest. Which is quite wonderful. Quite wonderful. And that's that point of interest done. Now to just get out of here without dying. Easier done than said. I've got so much health regeneration, it's just a minor bit ridiculous how much damage I can tank without actually losing health. It's quite nice. The downside to it, of course, is, as you would expect, I don't have a ready healing skill available. Because I don't ever want to take that off, because that reduces my endurance. How long I can stay in a fight if I remove that signet. But it was a trade-off. Now over here I encountered another warrior who was in minor distressing troubles. Fortunately, she appears to have enabled herself to stay alive, so I decided to help her out with some of these centaurs. Someone fairly new to the weapons, to the class, you know, doesn't have all her skills unlocked, so it's rather unfortunate. I believe she's a human warrior, which means she's probably around level 12 to 15, and no way could she take on that veteran by herself. It's just impossible. But I decided after that point, I think she'll be fine. I'm just gonna have to run off here. Because this is the direction we needed to go, this is the things we needed to do, so we're gonna go do that.
Humans aren't the only people harassed by the centaurs. There's a friendly Etten tribe led by Krug to the south. They would be powerful allies if we could get them to work together.
Yep. We gotta help some Etten. But first, we're gonna take a detour into the centaur camp. And, while we were there, we could have gotten another skill point, but, again, those are for their own separate video, as you would expect by now. So, you can see it straight ahead. This is the Tamini camp. There's 3 veterans here, and I'm pretty sure you can kill them and you might summon a champion. I'm not sure. I've never actually done that. But with that place discovered, it's time to go help some of those poor Etten. Those poor Etten. Now, if you remember Etten, they are giant 2-headed giants. Yes, it's a bit weird, but what can you do about that? They're Etten.
I wonder what's here.
And they also tend to be aggressive. This is the first time you'll encounter friendly, quote-unquote, Etten. I say quote-unquote because they won't help voluntarily. You need to trick them. And it's quite difficult to do so, I must say. You'll see what I mean. You'll end up killing a lot of Etten. That's all I can say. Fortunately, I only had to kill about 4 or 5 Etten, and only got 2 or 3 recruited. So it kinda sucked, actually, for the poor Etten. Now we're going to be heading into God-Lost Swamp. But there is a little scout we have to talk to first, after we get this point of interest in the Etten Cave, which theoretically, depending on how your perceived personality is, you might be able to get in. You need to have 100% ferociousness in order to get inside. Unfortunately, Erethin is more noble and charismatic than ferocious. It's just got a little bit of ferocity in her, but more dignity and charisma. And I broke my axe, so that kinda sucked. But what can you do? What can you do?
These monks and their theological teachings have been insightful, but the real secrets are yet to be revealed in the God's Lost Swamp. Where else but the ruined Temple of the Ages would we learn what truly became of the 6 gods? We should have the answer already. Unfortunately, progress has been slowed by those rifts to the underworld.
So that gives us our last quest. We're to eliminate portals to the underworld. But first, we have to get this waypoint. This waypoint would have been very useful before, but I just didn't duck down into God's Lost Swamp to get it. I don't know why, it didn't occur to me to do. It wasn't long of a trek, it just didn't occur to me. Now here's the Temple of Ages. The ruins of it. Now we can help the ghosts around here by asking them what makes them frightened, and then they turn and point, and it summons one of these things. They're not particularly hard at this point in time. They might be if you were a much lower level, but for me they really aren't. And I'm gonna show this off by taking out this entire portal, which is 3 creatures and a portal, all at once. Although if you focus down the portal, the creatures die. That is an effective strategy. However, when you destroy the portal, it'll summon either one of these, or a veteran creature. So you should be a little careful if you're at the appropriate level. Now, you might be wondering why I haven't cut yet. Well, there's a point of interest right in front of us that we want to get. So I'm not going to be cutting quite yet. Like I said, those things are easy as pie. But the point of interest is around to the front of this place with a necromancer who's quite happy to be here because, well, everything dies, so thus by being here where the portals are here, he can study the undead. He's a bit of a funny one. Now, this thing was summoned out of the last portal I closed, so that's to be expected. And that is the last of that. Now to head into the last outpost, and we will be continuing with skill points and then vistas next time. This is Stomping Llama, signing out.
I am that.
Whoever decided